order. Terry, will you do the honors for our page, please?
We'll go, Lord, in prayer. Father, we thank you, Lord, Father, for all your blessings each day, for being so good to us. And most of all, for dying on the cross of Calvary, your death, burial, and resurrection from the garden tomb, and your ascension, and your soon coming again, yet to save. We thank you for all your blessings. Pray that you bless this meeting. Bless our citizens, Lord Father, and the staff here and the officials. We pray, Lord Father, that people will come to Christ. The Bible says you come to seek and save those which are lost. And Lord Father, you perfected the plan of salvation, and it cannot be changed. We thank you for all your blessings. Do remember the sick, those that have cancer and all these different diseases in the hospital and nursing homes. Remember our missionaries on the mission field, especially remember our country and our leaders, that they come to Christ and depend on you for their counsel and guidance. Remember our soldiers that's fought for this country, that's in the military, and our veterans, Lord Father, and we just pray, Lord Father, that you watch over and protect us, and we'll give you honor, praise, and glory. Remember our young people in school and keep them safe, and those, Lord Father, that are traveling. We thank you for all your blessings in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Archer, present. Mr. Hoskins, here. Ms. Thompson, Mr. Wilson, here. Mayor Stanfield,
Here. Item number 4, approve the minutes from your April 2019 meeting. What's council pleasure?
Make a motion.
Have a motion, Mr. Wilson, have a second?
Second.
Second, Mark Colorado, sir.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Hoskins? Yes. Mr. Wilson? Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 5, reports from your boards, your committees, your department heads. What's council's pleasure?
Move for acceptance.
Have a motion, Mark, have a second? Second, Mark Colorado, sir.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Hoskins? Yes. Mr. Wilson? Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 6, any comments from citizens? Never being done? Jimmy, you have any comments?
Mayor, I was going to comment under our announcement section, if that's okay.
Okay. I got a comment. Hey, Johnny, I've been thinking, schools, when is school at?
Graduation is the 28th.
28th. Hey, why don't we use one of our gyms over there and have like a sock hop when you get a Friday or a Saturday? And, we can come up with some drinks, pops, and hot dogs and stuff,
At the school party.
Yeah, school party. Yeah, what do you think, Johnny?
Like, well,
Okay, why don't you go ahead and do it, yeah. All right. Anything else? Any announcements?
Yeah, we need everybody to remember, Right CE, the new fire truck will be here Friday.
Friday.
We don't know the time. But the new fire truck will be here if everybody wants to come down.
This Friday, okay.
This Friday.
All right, do you hear an announcement, Jimmy?
Yeah, Mayor, first thing I wanted to do is I want to take the opportunity to thank all of our employees for the good job they did cleaning up the city. It's grown, and we had to do 2 weeks this year just because of how big the cleanup has grown, and everybody did an outstanding job. We just want to take a chance to say thank you to all our employees for everything that they did. And the question we had last week about the quorum, I did get an answer on that. Let's see, and I do have copies for the media. Let's see, Mayor, if you'll just pass those down. And Mr. Archer, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Troutman. Okay, and they're on the, the short answer to the question is that, yes, we had a quorum. We have an excellent city attorney here, Mr. Troutman, who does much more than he ever gets paid for. Mr. Troutman's opinion was, we had discussed this prior, a long time ago, and he had told me what constituted a quorum. And just kind of to explain to some of y'all, because I'm not sure if you understand, we always talk about MTAS and getting, calling MTAS. Mr. Troutman's opinion as attorney is just as valid as MTAS's opinions as attorney. And really, I mean, MTAS has attorneys that this is what they do for cities day after day. So sometimes they know right off the top of their head some things that may have to be researched. And to be honest, it's cheaper to just ask MTAS if they know it off the top of their heads, if they can send us an opinion off the top of their heads and quote the law, than it is to pay for the law to be researched for, you know, for the answer that you need. But Mr. Troutman is an excellent attorney, does way more for us than we ever pay him for, and, you know, had indicated, I guess it was probably when I first took this job, what it constituted to make a quorum. But the first page you all have there, that's actually out of Robert's Rules of Order, and it goes through and tells that a quorum is the minimum number of meetings, minimum number of members who must be present at the meeting. And then it talks a little bit about organizations usually decide what should be required for a quorum, but it goes on down through there to say a quorum is if an organization fails to do this with some exceptions, the quorum is a majority of members, majority meaning more than half. So 3 is more than half of 5, so we did definitely have a quorum. Next page you have there, it's actually spelled out in our city charter. Section 1 says the city council is the mayor and 4 council members who are elected under this charter shall compose a city charter. So, I'm sorry, city council. Whether the mayor votes on every item or whether the mayor doesn't vote on every item is not addressed. Nothing about voting is addressed. It's just who is the city council. And then it says in section 5, under a quorum is a majority. It says a majority of the city council shall constitute a quorum. So it never addresses anything about voting in that. And the last page you have is the email from Mr. Troutman to Melissa Ashburn, the MTAS consultants. And you'll have to flip it over on the back because it prints from the last person who emailed forward. So Mr. Troutman emails her, and, you know, in his email he says, "Good morning, have a quick question about a quorum." He said, "I think Sid answered it for me years ago, but I'm double checking." Had a council member challenge it, and it says, "As per the charter, the mayor and elected council comprise the overall city council. There are 4 elected to the council and 1 mayor, total of 5. It's my opinion a quorum for a lawful meeting would be 3 individuals. Further, one of those individuals could be the mayor. Also, it would take 2 votes if 3 are meeting, in parentheses, to pass a matter. The mayor could vote in this situation, but only in a tie." And she indicates back that, she says, "Yes, you're correct." And she references the 2 sections out of it, you know, and it may be my fault because maybe I didn't explain it well enough, but it's really, you know, Mr. Faust, we have some great employees, Mr. Faust and Mr. Schlett, they both, they both indicated we had a quorum, but it's maybe my fault, maybe I didn't explain it well enough, but it's really very simple if you think about it, whether you have the mayor and 2 council members, or the vice mayor and 2 council members, or 3 council members. You have to have a chair for the meeting, so at the point the meeting's called to order, even if you had 3 council members, one of them would have to be a chair and thereby taking on the duties and responsibilities of the mayor at that point to chair the meeting. So in any scenario, 3 people on city council does constitute a quorum. And so I just wanted to address that. I did take some time to do some research and confirm what we already knew, that 3 people does constitute a quorum.
We said that the last meeting.
Yes, sir. I'm aware of that. Ms. Thompson had asked us to get an MTAS opinion, so we did get an MTAS opinion.
I believe the media requested that also, did they not?
I don't know.
No.
But that is the answer to the quorum. That yes, we did have a quorum, and yes, at the time we did it, we knew we had a quorum because the question has been posed prior to this. So at the time we did it, we knew we had a quorum at that time also. So we had the meeting.
You got anything else?
No, sir. I believe that's it.
You got anything, Bill?
I do, but I'm gonna wait till, you wanna go now?
Well, yeah, you can wait. Or you have. Mark?
I actually have a comment on something that occurred just prior to the meeting. Mr. Sharp just came in and has a complaint about a piece of property, I believe you said on 9th Street,
West
19.
Iron Street.
West Iron Street.
West Iron.
Okay.
Bill and Jimmy was up there today.
This is,
It's been
I'm
going
going
on
a different
for 3
direction
years.
with you
It's
now.
not been resolved yet.
Well, you stated prior to the meeting that you had hired an attorney, legal counsel.
No.
I want to ask Mr. Troutman if he has hired an attorney.
I spoke
We
to.
we cannot
spoke
speak
to
to him
an
any further
attorney.
about this matter, can we not?
That's correct, he is counsel, then you need to.
I've hired no attorney.
Well, you said a minute ago that you did.
No, I said I spoke to an attorney.
How does that stand, Rick?
There's a
Unless
lot of
he's hired
difference
it.
between speaking to attorney and hiring an attorney.
Two totally different things, if he's spoken to, one's different, but if he's hired one, he can't speak right now.
I asked you all to come up there and look.
And we agreed to come up there, but you said you hired an attorney.
No, I said I spoke to an attorney.
And our attorney tells us we can talk to you if you have an attorney.
I spoke,
Let the
I
attorneys talk to each other.
spoke to an attorney.
Good enough. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I got a comment. Mike, his son's here, and Terry, you know, we asked Mike to send you the paperwork on donate some money or discretionary money for his son to go to camp. What does Mike need to send you, Terry? You said.
I've already given.
We spoke already prior
I
to
give
the
it to
meeting.
him.
And actually, I'm sending a message right now to the
Okay.
board.
After you all come up there, Hot Rod and Mark and Mike, you'll see exactly what I've been talking about for 3 years. Now, when it rains hard, the water goes across the road. This past rain we had, about 4 inches of rain, water went across the road over into my property. That's because he feel that, you'll see it when you get up there, what he's done and why the water's doing that. Jimmy seen it today,
That's a stormwater
Bill-
issue.
Bill couldn't get out of the
You mentioned
truck.
drugs and deaths and things
Do
a
I?
minute ago. That's a stormwater issue. What you were talking about up here a minute ago was people dying from contaminated material.
it's up there, is what I'm trying to say, Mark.
Oh, I'm not arguing with you, I'm just, do we have a drainage problem or do we have?
We have
meth
both of
problem?
them.
Both of them.
Well,
Mr. Hoskins, I found out about
What
the
I'm
drainage
trying to
problem
say-
today, and that's why I went up to, it's up above Mr. Sharp's, that's why I went up there to look at it, and we will fix that problem.
So the drainage
I found
problem-
out about the drainage problem today, and went up there to look at it, to address it today, and we will fix that problem.
Mr.
Mark-
Jeffrey says he is gonna fix your
Mark,
drainage
let
problem.
me say this, then I'll hush.
Okay. Well, you don't have to hush.
When this first happened, there's a house behind Rick's Drug Store. Bob Fannin was on council member, was a council member there then. There was a meth lab blew up. All of you know it, the Hot Rod, Mike especially. The owner of the meth house, my sister lives right beside of it. I mean, there ain't no question about it. I was going to see my sister, and I watched the owner of the meth house load all he could onto his pickup truck. And I said to myself, I'm gonna follow you to see where you're going. Stan's heard this same story, and all of you heard it before.
So he loaded a truckload of meth up on the
I
truck.
followed him. He went right up above my house, rolled it over the hill. Daniel, there was another Daniel here then. You would be the fella that need to come with, Mark and Hot Rod and follow us up there after the council meeting and look at this mess. And even the captain back here, is he still here? He might be interested in this.
Are you saying somebody loaded up a truckload of drugs and dumped it behind your house? Out of the meth house?
Within 250 foot of my house. When you go with me, you'll understand, Mark.
Oh, I'm gonna go with you.
You can understand.
Okay.
And I've been down here how many times, Mike? And I know the city's got codes that to make people like that clean it up. They, on the books, they put it onto their tax if they don't clean it up.
If a drug dealer has loaded up a vehicle full, well, you didn't say a truck, you said a vehicle, full of drugs, and they took it and dumped it by their house, I think it would be a police issue.
Well, when, after the meeting, Mr. Webby and the captain, that your Benji mentioned the captain, he may be interested in meth too.
Who is this person that hauled this illegal material?
Lynn Lettner.
That sounds like a civil matter.
If you look in the Follett Press, there's 13 houses delinquent this year. It's every year, the same bunch. There's more than this. Jimmy knows more than what he's letting on. He's not telling us all of it.
All right, Mr. Sharp, I will tell you all of it that I know. Yes, I came up there today to your house.
I'm not talking about
Not
that.
to your house. I
I'm
came up
talking
there to
about
look at a
when I come
drainage
back.
problem,
I'm
and you
talking
started
about-
this methamphetamine issue, which, at that point, you did what you always do, which is accuse the city of conspiring against you, which has not happened. When this happened, the best of my memory is that, there was a meth lab behind that house. It was not methamphetamine that was hauled up there. It was old siding and building materials that was hauled to this site and dumped out. We started the process of dealing with it. Mr. Sharp was never happy with anything the city did, so at that point, we contacted the EPA. Ryan Miller from Solid Waste Management and somebody else, can't remember the name, came out. They took samples of wood from that dump pile. They took, and we turned it over to the EPA to have them to deal with this issue, because you know, the EPA, there's much more finding and there's much more things they can levy than the city could ever
Mark,
levy.
he's feeding you a bunch of bull
So,
right now.
excuse me a second, sir, let me finish and
I'm
then you
just
can.
telling Mark he's feeding you a bunch of bull.
Well, you need to
So-
tell the rest, you need to tell the rest of the
So-
council too, because we're all listening.
So, I apologize. At that point, they took samples from that pile. They also went to the house and took samples from the material at the house. That was all sent to a lab and tested. None of that tested positive as being contaminated with methamphetamine or any residue of methamphetamine. And if, I wish Daniel Smith was here. The
Me and Dan.
EPA told Mr. Lettner
You won't-
to bury
you won't
what he
listen
had
to him.
on
You
site,
won't listen.
which he did. But none of it tested positive. None of it came back as testing positive for methamphetamine. And unfortunately, you know, we have been over this on several occasions, and Mr. Sharp, for whatever reason, just will not, refuses to accept the fact that none of it tested positive for methamphetamine.
Cancel,
Were you still in the
got
judge's
no
office that time,
sonata.
Stan?
We had a trial down here, a mock
This
trial,
was ruled on
with
by
Daniel
a judicial
Smith
judge.
and Kathy Parrott.
I mean, we had a
and
judge
Steve
that
Hurst.
ruled on.
And Kathy Parrott said that there were two bags,
And it also went to court.
2 bags of insulation that tested positive for meth. You can ask Kathy Parrott that.
I don't
If we
think
had
that's
her
true,
as
sir.
stenographer, if we had her as stenographer, we'd have
Rick,
known.
do you have any suggestions how to handle this?
Well, I-
It's already been handled.
I think it has been handled, but my knowledge, I wasn't aware it was still going on.
Did-
Because I thought they went to court. to-
Reed,
They did go to court, and it was,
Reed, do you believe me or not?
It's not a matter of what I believe or don't believe, it's a matter of what is the proof out there.
Why don't the city, when they have court, have a stenographer where you know the truth?
Well, I think the question is there proof out there, or ever has been in writing from EPA?
Well,
or
we're going up there,
TDEC?
we're going up there to see.
Well, we're not gonna find any
We're
EPA.
going up there to see after the
We're not
meeting.
gonna find any EPA findings on the property, it would be documented in archives somewhere.
Listen, Mark, I've got a letter. that
Jimmy
I've
says
not
he's got one too.
Each council member's got a letter, each one of you has got a letter. Cause I give them to Stan. Stan, did I give each one of them a letter?
Yes, you did.
Did
What was
I?
that- What was that letter
I can't
about?
hear you,
That was
Stan.
from the EPA, they're ruling on it.
And what was
That
the
was
rules?
old.
I don't remember exactly,
Anybody
but
remember? I wasn't here.
Must be
no, you wasn't. It's
There you
been
go.
a year or two ago.
But the point being, sir, we turned that over to the EPA, and once the EPA has it, the EPA made the ruling and
I
decided what
live
to
in
do.
La
Mr.
Follette, I
Chapman,
don't live in
hang on a
Nashville.
second, Mr. Chapman,
I live in La Follette.
if things are tested in the lab, if it's sent to the lab to be tested, and it comes back negative, that there is no methamphetamine residue in that, is that hazardous to anyone's health?
It's still gonna stay up there, that's in codes, right? Daniel, is that still codes? Can you just, Daniel, you need to come with us when we go up there in a few
If
minutes.
they have determined that there was no meth there, it can still be done.
It was there.
Well, now, the wood may be there, and it may be a trash pile that needs to be cleaned up. I'm not arguing that point, but
Kathy
there's
Perrott,
no
Kathy
methamphetamine
Perrott,
residue.
I'll come down here to Kathy Perrott's court.
Hey, try to get everybody's attention, let's just move on, you're gonna go up there after the meeting, so.
That's the best thing, to do, just come with me.
All right.
No, I would tell you,
Well,
all, I
then
do not
take Johnny
recommend
with
going up there
us.
after
He'll
the
go
meeting.
with
The EPA instructed Mr. Leitner to bury what he has on the site. I will contact or have Daniel contact Mr. Miller from Solid Waste Management and get you all the reports on it and have it to you within the next week or so, if that'll be okay. I would not recommend going up there. There is nothing
Now,
that,
see what he's telling you now? He's telling you not to come up there to look.
He just told us that he.
I heard what he said.
That there's no contamination, and that once the EPA or TDEC come in, because we requested them, apparently, I wasn't here. Once they come in, it's taken out of our hands, we have no control over it any
Should have that
further.
letter to show Morris. I give each one of the council.
Ralph, I have no argument in this thing other than the fact that
Do you
today,
have-
when you called Jimmy, I happened to be present,
Do you have the letter?
and Jimmy said, if he's got a legitimate gripe, we'll go up there and look. We went and come up there. I didn't get out of the truck, but Jimmy did, and the issue was not methamphetamines leaking down the drain or anything. It was that you had a drainage problem,
Listen,
and that's what he went up there to address.
Bill, the water.
And that's what he's gonna fix.
The water that's going through my yard is coming off of that meth pile. That's what I'm trying
Well,
to
we're gonna
say.
fix it where it don't go down like your your garden pile.
I'm telling you, the water that's coming through my yard is coming off that meth pile.
All right, let's go on, Daniel. There's a gym that's supposed to be here now, he's not here, he works for Scott Lynch, he lays carpet. Is it on Beach Street, and Conley's having a problem with brush, his neighbor. And I've been up there twice myself in the past year, and I'll get with you tomorrow, and we'll talk to you, okay?
All right.
It's a neighbor dispute between him and his neighbor, you know.
I believe every one of you has got a letter. I know every one of you, including,
sir, we're moving on with our meeting. I mean, we've tried to address your problem, we're moving on with our
you
meeting.
not
and-
address that problem, if that, I don't know whether that stuff's gonna kill my family or not.
All right, I got another comment here, right before the meeting started, Nancy was talking about the post office over here, what,
It's illegal to dump that meth up in the city.
hey, Ralph, it's over.
Daniel Lawson, would you tell these people that it's illegal to dump stuff out of a meth house in the city of La Follette?
Daniel.
Daniel is in the house. Hey, Nancy, you want to comment on the post office?
Yes, I will. I know you guys have talked a tremendous amount about we shouldn't have bought the post office. There's been some remorse expressed. There's been some, we're glad we bought it, just kind of a mixed bag. We put a lot of money in this county into our athletics, but we forget about our kids who are not athletic. The Postmark is putting on different projects for our children with the arts. My son won first place in their FilmWorks competition. He is not athletic. And by winning that and participating in that workshop, he's found a love of film and communication. So I thank you all for buying that post office and letting Postmark be there. It's a great thing.
You know, Nancy, I told you, we got some grants to fix it and stuff, you know. As long as they take care of it, you know, do the maintenance on the inside of it, I got no problem with using it. I'm pretty sure council told me that.
But it's great. brought out a new piece for our family.
Wait, Georgia,
Let's talk to the state.
I never ran for post office.
We're going to, they're gonna see if we qualify for the criteria, for the grant meeting criteria, but we're attempting to apply for another grant to continue fixing the inside of the post office.
Yeah. It's a beautiful old building.
It's very pretty.
Okay, let's move on, okay? Under ordinance and resolutions, number one, resolutions 2019-04, amendments to the original budget, 2018-2019 budget. What's your council pleasure?
I so move, Mayor.
Have a motion by Hot Rod, have a second.
Second.
Second, Bill, call roll, Sam.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Hoskins?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson? Yes.
Motion carries. Item number two, resolutions 2019-05, a government obligation contract dated April 25th, 2019 between Republic National Corporation and the City of LaFotte. It's on the Forest Club. What's the council pleasure?
That's on the resolution on that fire truck.
It is.
Yeah.
Motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Hot Rod, have a second.
Second.
Second, by Mark, call roll, Sam.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Hoskins?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Under Fire Department, see, where's your fireman at, see?
Don't think he's here tonight. No, he's not here tonight.
Shouldn't he be here?
Told him it'd be nice for him too if he couldn't be. He's working most all day and he's gonna come back first thing in the morning again tomorrow.
Oh, is he training on the ladder truck?
Yeah, he's done some training, yes.
I watched them guys up there
He'll
this
be back
morning.
first thing in the morning again.
I watched them guys take that pile on, sit on top of another pile on,
Yeah.
probably about 200 feet away.
That's gotta,
I couldn't even see it before, they don't
I
put a
keep,
pile on top of
I keep.
it. Okay, under the Fire Department promoting Eric Sawonski, full-time firefighter, currently part-time at a salary of $29,213.60, effective 5/11/2019. What's council pleasure?
So move, Mayor.
Have a motion by Hot Rod, have a second.
Second.
Second, Bill, call roll, Stan.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Hoskins?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. CE come highly recommended, CE. Okay, under Police Department, Darrell Chapman, promoting Darrell Chapman to full-time patrol officer, currently part-time at a salary of $32,580, effective 5/11/2019. Darrell's here. Yeah, you want to make a comment, Darrell?
Appreciate the council for bringing me home to LaFollette. I'll work hard for you. I'll do the best I can. I've got a lot of experience and I'm glad to accept the position if you give it to me.
Now, Darrell, if, you get a uniform, a blue uniform, I want to borrow that suit. I like that suit.
That's sad.
So far, you're the only one that ever conned in the top.
Well, what's council pleasure on Darrell? Have a motion. Have a motion, Mark, have a second.
Second.
Second, Bill, call roll, Stan.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Hoskins?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Welcome home, Darrell. Welcome home, bud.
I've got some things up.
Okay, go ahead, Bill.
Comcast Cable has sent a franchise agreement to us back sometime. No figures as to the amount of money. Come to find out today, we don't set that. It's just automatic. But also, I'd like to find out the status of Spectrum, Dish, and DirecTV as to whether they're paying on, for services inside the city.
Okay, Jim?
You talking about the services they're providing us or the?
Franchise fees, I think it's exactly, if they're paying the franchise fees over time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're checking that, can you agree?
The change over the last year, usually we negotiate directly with the cities and they don't.
They made a new law called the Competitive Cable and Video Services Act. I think it was enacted in 2008, 2009, and now they deal directly with the state. The rates and everything are set through the state of Tennessee instead of through any of the cities, so.
How much more time it was? Okay, Bill?
The next item was the Safe Sidewalk Grant, Dawson Ridge Downtown Revitalization grants. I'll let Jimmy bring us up to date on all those.
The Safe Sidewalk Grant, we are waiting for TDOT's final approval to go to construction. Once TDOT gives the final approval to go to construction, everything has been turned in on that grant, and it's just at TDOT waiting for their final approval to go to construction. Once that happens, it will probably take about 6 weeks through the bid processes and everything before we actually go to construction, 6 to 8 weeks, but that's all we're waiting for, is for TDOT's final approval.
So it will be in place by the fall of the year then?
Well, we hope so. TDOT will send us back their approval. It's, but the engineers we hired, they have submitted everything to TDOT, and that's the only thing they're waiting for is the final approval to notice to proceed on construction.
I believe we'll all be dead before we get that Dawson Bridge.
What was the next question, Mr. Archer?
Was a budget workshop with all department heads.
Was it Dawson Bridge?
Dawson,
Okay, on Dawson Bridge, I just received this week received the archaeological study from the NEPA phase, and had an email from Warren, I believe it's, I don't know how you say his last name, Ig, and he's a vice president of GRW, had an email from him and then spoke to him this week, and what he let me know was, they are on track with that. They are getting ready to, drill some pilot holes for the pilings, and what that is for is to check the soil composition and see how far it is to bedrock, and so that can go into the next part of their design phase. But we are on track with that one, and it was it downtown?
yeah.
Okay, the downtown, I actually received an email from him concerning the first downtown grant. On the first downtown grant, I think it goes to construction either June or July, and I have spoken with him and Davina Gerchik of Community Development Partners, and we are on track. We're waiting for some stuff back from TDOT on it just before we go to our construction phase in June or July. So they have submitted everything they're supposed to submit. We're waiting for a review and an answer back from TDOT on it.
Budget workshop with all department heads.
We will have a budget workshop. What Terry typically does, he gets everybody's budgets in, he works on them, and then he works the budget. He has a general overview of the budget, and then at that point, Terry will let me know, and then we'll call budget workshops. It'll probably be another few weeks.
What if, in the meantime, we have let's say Johnny Bird's at Rec Center needs something specific. Do we, at that point, try to adopt it, put it into the budget, or?
Yeah, at that point, they'll bring you their general overall budgets, and then they will bring you their, we always call it a wish list.
Yeah.
But they'll bring you their wish list for the specific things they need for each individual department. And then Terry will have the revenue projections for next year, so we'll know the overall budget where we are and the wish list where we are also.
Terry just takes in what, he does no changing on them, right?
On the initial budgets,
What they turn in.
He likes his little magic wand, doesn't he?
On certain items, yes.
Terry does the fuel, he does all of the payroll stuff. There's a few things that Terry does. And if there's something that a department head has and we know we can't do it, Terry will get with that department head and explain to them at that point what's happening and why we can't do it. And they will sit down and go over it and try to find a way to fix the problem at that point.
Meeting with the county landfill committee and the director of the environment as to coming to an understanding between Jim, us, and everybody else as to what we can do out there, what we can take out there.
I have talked to, and I know, we've had some misunderstandings over the years, and I have talked to Andy Wallace, the deputy mayor, who is getting with Mr. Coker, And I've also talked to Reed, and we were gonna try to sit down and work that out and maybe bring an answer to you,
That'd be great.
so.
Okay, the status of the Beach Street, Cumberland Avenue and 13th Street project, Jim Mullins?
We finally got the Native American Council to sign off. That was the last thing we were waiting on. It has been submitted to TDOT for final approval. As soon as they give final approval, then we'll be ready to move on to the next phase. And it could come at any time. You know how they work. Sometimes they get on with it, sometimes they're slow. But that's where we are with that.
Okay, what about, let everybody out there understand what NEPA phase is? What it entails?
That is an environmental phase that TDOT requires us to do during every project that we do. We have to do an environmental phase. So that is the environmental phase that we have to do required by TDOT on these projects.
Come up above my house, they can find out what environmental is.
Okay, the status of the TBI investigation on the recorder found in the conference room.
I'd like to hear that too.
I spoke with the agent a couple of weeks ago. I guess the last time I spoke with her, 2 weeks ago, maybe a little longer, maybe a little less, I'm not for sure, but at that time, she advised me that she had another interview that she needed to do, and once she had one more interview, and once it was done, that she would be presenting her findings to the district attorney's office, so it's not dead. I mean, nothing's.
She's met with us in council, right?
She didn't say who it was she needed to interview, so she didn't tell me.
Bill, back to your meetings with the department heads, is that gonna be a called meeting? If more than one of us?
No, it is. It's typically done after hours here. It's typically done after hours, and it's a budget meeting, and it will be advertised and done that way. That's the way we do those meetings. They're advertised.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna ask council to do. 3% cost of living raise for our employees this year. If we can find that money, so if we have to cut the budget.
Last thing I want to ask about is can we send letters, I know Jimmy did this once before, to Carmack, AMC about possibly locating a movie theater within the city of La Follette. It may take an individual act, some person to put a theater in, but Carmack and AMC might want to do it on their own. That he'll do, send that out. The other thing was, if we'll send letters to Brunswick Bowling, to see if we can possibly get a bowling alley or get some lanes put in.
There are other corporations around America that work with these corporations that on a private, basis.
But we gotta ask. If we don't ask, we ain't gonna get nothing.
Maybe they can provide a name of those private companies to us so that we can approach them on a separate basis.
I understand. That's good.
And I agree. I'd love to have a bowling alley.
Well, our youth has got to have something. We got t-ball, we got soccer, we got basketball, but when they get up beyond that, what do they do? Like Mayor asked Johnny to do, have a school party for our teenagers. Bring them in and let them have an old-fashioned sock hop. They don't even know what a sock hop is.
You do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great idea, Bill. I'm with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I got.
I got one more thing.
Wake up, Rob.
Just to clarify, Terry, are we good on this 2018 and 29? The budget on that 20,000 for Mark?
Yes.
Is that included in there?
That was on that first resolution.
Okay.
You had one item on there, and I added that as a second item.
Right. I just want to make sure we got it.
Hey, Jim, they called me this morning at 6 o'clock and got me out of bed. They said he was supposed to be there yesterday. I told him he'd be here this week, that track hole.
Where?
Corner market. If you have to slip and drive that track hole down the highway here at 2 o'clock in the morning, get that thing in there. That way he said we ain't lied to him.
You got the tile?
No, we have to.
Not been authorized by it yet.
Tell them, Jim, how long it's gonna take to get it.
I don't know,
We
Lord.
just appropriated it just now.
When I get a PO, and here, by the way, pass this down to Terry.
Money, Terry. Did you get a quote on that pipe?
There's 3 quotes right there. When I get a PO, I'll order it, see when they tell me they get it. It'll be at least a week, maybe 2. And they won't tell me till they order it, how long it takes to get it.
Right.
So it's up there.
Why's that guy in such a hurry? It ain't gonna do us no good to go out there without tile.
Well, you know, we told him once that building was took off and the slab was gonna be there. The building's gone, the slab's up, when he got there, he won't put a drive through. And when you get this tile in, he gonna sign a paper, we're not responsible for it.
Right, I understand that.
But we'll never see it happen again in our lifetime.
No, we'll be done.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about, but he ought to understand, we just can't come out there and start digging without the tile.
A few more inches of rain this week,
Yeah. That's what I,
Well, let's keep that there anyway.
but it's fine to take it out there, you know.
Well, I'm worried about maintenance and,
Yeah. What do you want to do, man?
Take it out there. Hey, our stuff gets vandalized sitting all over the city anyway. You know, we had the backhoe bucket truck already parked, so I knocked the wind out of it. Not the backhoe, but very good grader.
No,
You say take it?
Huh?
Did you say you all agree to take it?
Well, you gotta
When I
get there.
then I'll have to get somebody to move it. When I get somebody to move it, I'll get it moved, if that's agreeable. Okay.
You anything else? Mark?
I'd like to say one more thing, Mike.
Right?
All right. Jimmy done been there. Mark. All of you come up to my house and look, and just put in your mind, would I want this within
I
that
understand the
distance
thing,
of
right?
my house? Jimmy, you got a nice place. Would you want it that close to your house? I mean, talk, speak the truth. Would you, Bill, you live on Cherry Street. I know where you live. Would you want it above your house?
He's got Cliff Jennings above him.
Well, that don't count. All right, you live up there in kind of in that deal. Would you want to, up on the hill like this place?
I get washed away with water.
Would you just come and look? Would you just come and
They
look
said,
at
yeah,
it?
they said you come look at it.
Just know where I live. I'll be there.
We call Fairmore to order, call the roll.
Mr. Archer, Mr. Hoskins, Mayor Stanfield, Ms. Thompson, Chairman Wilson.
We don't have any applications at this time.
Motion made.
11 miles, 4 hours. 1 o'clock, man.